Do you know how Rothschild became the world's richest family and from where they belong? How did they gain such wealth? What are their businesses? A boy from Frankfurt's poorest of the poor areas, whose parents died when he was 12. He was cramped in a 30 people room, struggling to get his wish fulfilled. One day his family turned out to be Europe as well as the world's richest family. They were so obsessed with wealth that they had limitation on their circulation. They smashed their sons worldwide and governed countries. They helped so many nations pioneer out of insolvency and even built the Indian railways. They had gold reserves 10 times more than Maharashtra's GDP. They manipulated the French president and owned 1800 places more expensive than Burj Khalifa each. This family is none other than the famous Rothschild, the wealthiest and most influential in the world. The story begins in 1744 at Frankfurt. Born there Meyer Rothschild, Jews were so discriminated against that Meyer couldn't even live in Frankfurt. He resided on a small ghetto called Judengasse outside the city walls. His house was so small that more than 30 people lived in it. Meyer started with trading gold coins and eventually turned out to wealth management. Finding success, he connected with 5 most influential families of Europe and began managing William Prince finance. As he became wealthier, Meyer decided that he wanted his family to be the richest not only now but forever. To do that, he did 2 things. The chancellor's first play was to borrow cheap gold coins from the market. When he heard that Prince William was buying more, he would then sell them at higher prices as word spread, making a huge profit. At the same time, he could sell all the coins he had previously bought and make a large profit. This strategy is now known as running ahead in business and finance. In the early 1800s, Europe was in the midst of the Industrial Revolution, with nations competing or fighting. The Rothschilds saw this as a great opportunity and decided to expand their banking business beyond Frankfurt and throughout Europe. Their 6 sons were went to establish branches to the 5 most important financial centers of Europe: London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt. This strategy changed the life of Rothschilds. Despite their distance, these branches functioned as integrated banks. Nathan Mayer Rothschild, the most talented brother, took about 1.5 to 1.6 million pounds to London. Within a year, he was incredibly successful, earning millions of dollars a year. In 1811, Nathan founded the Child and Sons Bank in London, which outgrew his father's bank in size. Before 1800, England and most of Europe were engaged in a protracted war with the French Emperor Napoleon. Nathan saw an opportunity in these battles and formed a team to gather information about the war before the British government. He used these wars in a clever way. The Battle of Waterloo broke out suddenly on June 18, 1815, and England won. The Rothschild has an efficient communication network with horse trains and pigeon trains, allowing them to get information faster than the British government. When Nathan learned of the victory, he immediately sold his shares on the London Stock Exchange, causing panic among other investors and sending a massive share sell-off. Meanwhile, Nathan's agent bought back the same stock at lower price. When it became clear that England had won the war, people started buying shares again, and this increased the price of the stock and enabled Nathan to sell his stock purchased at a higher price in a lower price. While many investors lost money in a panic, Nathan profited from his careful planning. During the 19th and 20th centuries, the Rothschilds had such wealth that they became the largest lender to the government around the world, preventing the collapse of many countries and the lending of money by the banks we rely on today from the Rothschilds. For example, a large bank closed in 1825 due to lack of funds, but Nathan and his family stepped in to save it by borrowing money. Loans were also extended to powers such as France, including in 1818 a massive £360 million loan to the Germany government. Europe became increasingly dependent on the Rothschilds to the point where nations had to seek their financial support to fight each other. In 19th century, when Europe was threatened with war, the mother of the Rothschild, Gutel, consoled them by saying, "Don't worry, there will be no more wars in Europe because I won't have sons." You can predict that in the future, for example, 150 years ago, The Rothschild recognized the importance of the Suez Canal, where billions of dollars of worth of goods are handled annually, and invested a whopping £4 million in advance late 19th century growing demand for gold. The Rothschilds had the foresight to invest in gold and silver mining worldwide 20-30 years before demand peaked. When America experienced a gold crisis in 1893, they turned to the Rothschilds, providing about 1,000 kilograms of gold worth more than 5 billion today, and a booming automobile industry in late 19th century and early in 20th century, and the rising demand it was oil. And the Rothschilds had already invested in the oil in the Baku and Azerbaijan and anticipated future exploration. The Rothschilds aimed to control the world oil supply through their investments. Most branches of the family, except those in England and France, faced financial ruin during World War I and II, or had to be closed by Hitler's forces, but the family survived, although many now kept secret and their activities remain largely unknown to the public. Jacob Rothschild, currently based in England, leads the family and its various interests, which include banking, asset management, winemaking, and consulting. They own more than 1800 properties worldwide with a total value of 36 billion. Not only that, Rothschild own more than 55 private jets and more than 100 billion in stock. They also support many bankers and politicians around the world, such as former US President Bill Clinton and current French President Emmanuel Macron, who works part-time for them, and they say they have succeeded in winning their support for their presidency in 2013. Leaked documents reveal that more than 30 secret trusts had shown in insular location with billions of dollars in assets. Trusts have vague names such as Anon, Benin Trust, and Denin Trust. Despite its secrecy, the family influence extended beyond Europe and includes ties in India. For example, in 2013, when 4G was being rolled out in Brazil, the government sold 4G spectrum and bids were invited. Incredibly, a company connected to the Rothschild was hired to manage the auction and paid a substantial sum. The company was accused of having no experience in running such outlets. Similarly, in a major financial reform in 2016, Brazilian tax authorities raided a company for suspected illegal financial activity during the reform. Charging them with large sum went to a company allied linked to the Rothschilds. While some of these claims may be unsubstantiated, they point to the endurance of influencing of the Rothschilds. I hope you guys like the video. If you find this video informative, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and make sure to click the bell icon to stay updated with our latest updates.